Well, hello everybody, Mr. Mack here. Glad you came back for another chapter of Restart, chapter 16. And this chapter is in Shoshana Weber's point of view. And I'm excited about it. Well, I'm excited about it. The last chapter was a bit of comic relief. It was there wasn't a whole lot of movement towards anything, towards the Medal of Honor, the theft of it, towards the relationship between Shoshana and Chase. You know, it was just fun, and I had a lot of fun. It was great. When you are a reader, you visualize, you see what the author has created. You see the author's world. You see it in your head. The rest of the world goes away. You suspend your disbelief, and you become part of this. Well, in this case, Hiawassee. We're all there whenever we read. So, chapter 16, Shoshana Weber, and we'll see where this is going. Joel is more miserable than ever at Melton Conservatory. I was hoping he'd start to settle in a little better, but it's just not happening. He calls home every night and talks to Mom, and Dad, and me too for hours on end. And most of the time he doesn't even complain. He just grills us about everything that's going on in Hiawassee without him. And I can tell that he's so homesick, it's tearing him in two. Bless his heart, as bad as it was in town, being bullied so badly by Chase and the others, specifically Chase, he's desperately homesick. Homesick meaning he's somewhere other than home, and the only thing he wants to do is be home. The other night he Skyped in just to watch me give Mitzi, our Cocker Spaniel, a bath. Mitzi had gotten loose that afternoon, and when she came home, she was covered in crushed leaves and some kind of syrup or honey. Well, we know what that was. She made her way to the park and joined in with the other dogs to, lick the syrup off of Brendan when he was Leaf Man. It took 3 soapings and a half hour with a comb to get her clean. Joel stayed online for the whole thing and helped me talk her through it. He even refused to go down to the dining hall for dinner, and this was the kid who formerly wouldn't be in the same room with Mitzi because she made him sneeze. I don't dare mention my project with Mr. Sawway to Joel, because what if he asks who I'm working with? I'm not going to lie, but how can I tell him? And he'll see right through me if I try to fudge my answer, as in, oh, just some new kid. Twins can read each other, even from miles away. The hard part is, video club is one of the things that Joel asks about the most. I give him updates on the progress we're making with the video yearbook and provide a play-by-play on Brendan's pathetic attempts to get Kimberly Tooley to notice him, and we learned that too in the last chapter. That was a revelation in the last chapter. Not only Leaf Man and the that suit that he wore and covered himself in syrup. We found that Brendan has a crush on Kimberly, and Brendan has a crush on Kimberly. Kimberly doesn't know it. Kimberly doesn't give Brendan the time of day. Kimberly has a crush on Chase, and pre-accident, Chase didn't give Kimberly the time of day. Now, Chase is different. He's friendly, he speaks with everyone, so he is speaking with Kimberly, which is the only reason she's in the video club, to be near Chase. So anyway, the hard part is video club is one of the things Joe asks about the most. These days, that's the only thing that gets a laugh out of Joel. And I work very hard not to say anything that might lead him to ask a question that I can't give him the answers to. He has come close a few times. Did you ever look into entertaining that national video contest? Did you ever enter it? Gosh, I have tons of homework, Joe, in 8th grade, I said to him. That's what it's come down to between us. You know, I don't lie, but I don't tell the truth either. It's sad because my project with Mr. Salway has turned into the biggest thing in my life. We would have been done 2 weeks ago. We already have so much material that we could cut it off at any time and still have more than we could ever use. And we know why Chase and Shoshana are hanging on longer with Mr. Salway. They love him, and he loves them. We know that. But it goes beyond just the great interviews we're getting. We've really made friends with the old guy. Most of the time, we're barely working anymore. We take him out for walks. He treats us to lunch. We had a picnic once. Chase and I have really bonded with him. There. I said it. Chase and I. Now, I had kind of shared my feelings before. Shoshana has a bitter anger towards Chase, as we know. Can't blame her. But that was before Chase. This is after Chase. And I think that anger is beginning to kind of melt away a little bit. And I think she's growing closer to Chase. That's what I'm thinking. Just like Mr. Salway has become a part of my life, so has the kid that Joel and I called the Alpha Rat. To be honest, I hardly ever think of him that way and by that nickname anymore. I want to. I know it's an act of Weber family loyalty, and I'm on board with that. I get it. I could give a college-level symposium on all the reasons why Chase used to be the rattiest rat ever to drag his rat tail through the primordial ooze. But that's not the point. There's no question he was ratty then. The problem is he isn't ratty anymore. He's like a version 2.0 of himself with all the bad stuff written out of the programming. He isn't even that bad when he's with Beta and Gamma rats. They're doing community service at the Portland Street, so we do run into them here and there, you know, Aaron and Bear. The three of them still act like friends, but there's definitely some kind of tension in that group. I can't tell if it's Aaron and Bear who are wary of Chase, or Chase who is wary of those two. Wary means suspicious. Like they look at each other sideways, like they're not sure who the other person is or what they're about to do. Maybe it's simpler than that. If the biggest jerks form a club, everything starts to fall apart when one of them isn't quite so jerky anymore. There's only one explanation, and it's about as unchase as you can get. He's nice. I thought he was showing his inner bully when he pulled the football team member off Brendan that time, but I was wrong. I sure haven't seen any other signs of that from him. No violence, no bullyish-ness. The biggest indicator of how much Chase has changed is the way he is with Mr. Salway. The Salways never had kids of their own. Chase has become almost like a grandson to the old guy. At first, I think Chase was just impressed by that Medal of Honor and that he was a Medal of Honor recipient. But it's gone way beyond that now. As much as Mr. Salway likes me to, the real bond is between him and Chase. Don't get me wrong, like I said, Mr. Chase likes me too. I'll always be your friend, and occasionally, when Mr. Salway forgets, he says and calls me Chase's girlfriend. The first time he called me that, Chase turned the color of a mature eggplant. I'll bet I was even darker purple than that, which means they blushed. Uh, she's not my girlfriend, Mr. Salway. Chase mumbled in embarrassment. She's just, and then he clammed up again because he was about to say a friend, but he was afraid I'd get mad at him for that. Back then, I probably would have. I'm not sure about today. We're in video club together, I supplied. The old guy rolled his eyes. Okay, well, you keep telling yourself that, little lady. Just because Mr. Salway is no longer the hermit of Portland Street doesn't mean he's all sweetness and light. He's still a pretty crusty guy who speaks his mind and doesn't worry about who might disagree with him. He barks arguments at the TV news commentators he believes are idiots and watches sitcoms with a straight face to prove they're not funny. He's convinced that the Hubble Space Telescope is fake and that the pictures it sends back are created in a Hollywood film studio. He's stringing a necklace out of the gout pills he refuses to take. Gout is a condition that some people get in their joints. They get swollen and it's very painful. So evidently, Mr. Salway may or may not have gout, and Portland, the residence he lives at, gives him these big old pills he has to take. But instead of taking them, he's making a necklace out of them. It is his plan to present this necklace as a going-away present to Nurse Duncan, who drives, he's hoping, that will someday drive her so crazy that she quits. Come on, Mr. Salway, Chase chides. You like Nurse Duncan. She's good to you. You know she is. She's incompetent, is the growled reply. I don't have gout. I just have a sore foot every once in a while. Let's see how much tap dancing she's doing when she's my age. He's entertaining, but he can be exhausting too. Sometimes Mr. Salway even exhausts himself and Mr. Salway even exhausts himself and falls asleep in our faces. My tongue is getting wrapped around my teeth. When that happens, Chase puts a blanket over him, and we tiptoe out. On this particular day, we decide to grab a snack and screen our footage. I suggest frozen yogurt at Heaven on Ice, and the words are out of my mouth before I remember what happened the last time we were both at that place. You remember, she stormed up to him, told him he was a jerk, and then dumped her vanilla yogurt on top of his head. He looks a little worried, so I add, I promise not to dump anything on your head this time. Heaven on Ice is just a few blocks away, so we load up the Sundays, pick a corner booth, and start to preview the day's efforts on the flip cam. It's good stuff. Mr. Salway is ranting about how the designated hitter has ruined baseball, so we're both holding back laughter as we watch. We already have enough footage for 5 videos. I can't shake the feeling that we keep going back for more just because we don't want it to end. Chase is having the same thoughts. You know what? I'm going to keep visiting Mr. Salway, even after we finish, Chase says. I'll come with you. My response is instant, even though I had no idea I was going to say that. Shush! I look up, and there's my mother in line at the register, carrying a small frozen yogurt cake. Suddenly, an expression of utter horror spreads across her face. Shoshana's mother has no idea that she's been working with Chase. Chase, the one who chased her son out of town. Mom, what's wrong? And then I realize that she's just recognized the person that I'm with. Our heads together as we watch the tiny flip can screen. I never told anybody in my family who my partner is for the video contest, so I know this must seem to Mom, it must seem to her and look like I'm cozied up, practically cheek to cheek with the horrible bully who made Joel's life unbearable and forced him out of town. Mom, it's not what it looks like, I blurt. Her expression is carved from stone. The car is outside. I'll drive you home. But Mom, I said get in the car. Chase stands up. Mrs. Weber? She's been quiet up to now, but being addressed directly by Chase is too much for her. How dare you speak to me? She seethes. Her entire body was shaking. Everyone in my family is off limits to you. If I had my way, you and your filthy friends would be in juvenile hall. I speak up again. Mom, this is my fault, not his. If you have to blame somebody, blame me. I am blaming you. She hustles me out the door, tossing over her shoulder at Chase. Stay away from my daughter. Can't we talk outside, Mom? I plead. Oh, we'll talk about this, she agrees. Trust me, by the time we're through, your ears will be blistering. We're halfway home before either of us realizes that she never even paid for the frozen cake. There's a time jump there. So I have a feeling the next scene is going to be at home. Mom calls Dad, who actually leaves work early to come home and talk to me. It's as if they've discovered I have a secret criminal life or something, like I'm counterfeiting $100 bills on a printing press beneath the old ski suits in the basement. He tries to sound reasonable. We want you to be free to discover who you are. We never put limits on that. Until now, I say. We never thought we had to, my mother explodes. Look, Shosh, you know us. We do not tell you who to be friends with, but him? He's the worst kind of bully, the kind who ruins lives. Your brothers, for one. We're not friends, I defend myself. At least, well, we didn't start out that way. Chase is in the video club now. Doing my contest entry on Mr. Soloway was his idea. I didn't want to say yes, but the old guy, well, he's perfect. And it never struck you as suspicious that this boy who made a career out of tormenting Joel should suddenly turn his attention to you? Dad challenges me. Of course it did. I hate Chase Ambrose. I mean, I hate that Chase Ambrose. He's different now. He's not a bully anymore. He doesn't remember anything that happened before the accident. Nothing. That's convenient, my father says. I thought so too. Dad, I did, I admit. I was positive he was faking that amnesia stuff. But there's just no way. Nobody is that good of an actor. And you know what? They aren't going to want to hear it, but I'm saying this anyway. We weren't friends at the beginning. Mom and Dad, we weren't. But I think we're kind of turning into friends now. I like this new Chase. My mom recoils, honestly. She recoils, moves back like I had just slapped her. Your brother, she begins, her voice was shaking, is completely unhappy, attending a school he hates, instead of at home, living the life he's entitled to, and the reason is that boy you're so quick to defend? I don't know if he's changed, and I don't care. The person he was broke up this family. What he did to Joel? It's unforgivable. That means he can never be forgiven. Dad glares at me. I'll bet you haven't told Joel who you're buddy-buddy with these days, have you? How would you ever explain this to him? Now that hurts, because Dad's right. Fine, I confess. I never said anything to Joel. Well, maybe I should have. You can't be serious. You can't be serious, my mother exclaims. What possible good could come of that? An idea is forming in my head. A kind of wild idea, but it's making more and more sense the longer it sits there. You said it yourself. Joel's lost at boarding school. I think he's more unhappy than he ever was here being bullied. What do you think Shoshana's idea is? I think I have an idea. Shoshana's a smart girl. Mom and Dad are too upset right now to really have good ideas. They're hurt and they're angry, and I don't blame them. Chase, before Chase, I would feel the same way as a parent. Before I could think from Shoshana's point of view as a sibling, someone did that to one of my siblings, I would feel as she does, just as angry. And as a parent, absolutely, I can understand exactly how Mom and Dad are feeling. But Shoshana has an idea. Listen to what she said. Let me read it again. Joe is lost at boarding school. I think he's more unhappy than he ever was here, even when he was being bullied. And whose fault is that? Mom demands. Your new friend. That's who. Can we just talk about Joel for 1 second, Mom? Leave everybody else out of it. He's so depressed at Melton, Mom. And maybe he doesn't have to be. What are you saying? Dad asks me. Chase bullied Joel to the point where he had to get out of town, I explain. But that Chase doesn't exist anymore. That Chase is no longer here. What if we're keeping Joel at boarding school for nothing? They both just stare at me. You mean bring him home? Mom says. And then she takes a breath. The reason for him to be somewhere else doesn't exist anymore, I insist. Chase has changed. Aaron and Bear, they're still jerks. But Chase was their ringleader. Now, I'm not saying it'll be perfect, but Joel should be here. Joel wants to be here, and I'm pretty sure he can be here. I brace myself. I'm expecting them to completely go off on me. I'm crazy. I'm dreaming. I'm gambling with my brother's life, whatever. But instead, Mom and Dad, both just silent. At last, my father finds his voice. Shosh, what if you're wrong? I don't have an answer for that. I only know that I want my brother back. I've wanted it since the day he left for Melton. The very last line of this chapter is a text from Shosh 466 to Joel. We have to talk, the text says. And that's it. That's the end. That was a very emotional chapter. Spectacular. Like I said, I can understand Mom and Dad feeling the way they did, just as I could understand Shoshana feeling the way she did about Chase and what he was a part of and what he did to Joel and others. But I can also understand from Chase's point of view and from Shoshana's point of view that this is no longer that Chase. That Chase is gone. And memories are coming back to Chase. We know that. I don't know necessarily that Shoshana knows to what extent and what memories exactly are coming back, but some of the memories that are coming back to Chase, they're not nice, you know. Doesn't matter. He doesn't seem to be reverting back to bully Chase. He's remaining to be awesome Chase, fun Chase, a friend Chase, you know. Someone who has a real talent with a camera. So, I think Shoshana's right. I think Joel could come back. I think she's right too in what she said, that Joel is so unhappy, that he's more unhappy being away at Melton than he ever was, even in Hiawassee when he was being bullied. I think being home would be the best thing for Joel. I'm just going to say I hope that happens, and I certainly hope Joel comes home. That's it for this chapter. And the cool thing is, for the first time, the next chapter, chapter 17, look who it is. It's Joel. I can't wait. We're going to be inside Joel's head. I can't wait. I have a feeling that when she leaves us in chapter 16, she's leaving us texting Joel, Joel, we have to talk. I think she's going to tell him. I think she's going to tell him everything. We're going to get his reaction. Can't wait. Take care. Stay safe. If you go out, mask up. Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, mouth. I wish you all the best. Come back for chapter 17. Bye-bye.